Live from Long Island, New York, it's Love, Death, and Taxes. I am Ryan Neal Williams, and my lovely co-host is Agnes Amisano. I hope you are seeing this for the very first time, and you're like, "Wow, I'm really interested in what these mature, intelligent people are hoping
That's us,
are
yes.
going to pass on to us today." Yeah, that's us, and we'll see exactly whether or not you get some sort of wisdom from it. Hi, Agnes, how are you doing?
I'm
And
a little
how
tired
was your
today.
how was last week?
I'm a little tired today. It started as a beautiful, easy day, and it turned into a little hectic. But I survived. I'm here. So
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah,
right. We make it. We make it through. I see the sun is coming back through again. We're getting a lot. It's like 74 today. We had gone down to like the late 60s on in the temperature, but now it's hitting 74. But it's still got that really nice, crisp, cool fall morning thing, which I love. So yeah, people, Long Island is lovely during the fall, and we get like 4, 5 weeks of that beautiful yellow, golden, brown, orange. So I don't know if you've seen that, but other than that, okay. So what? Emotionally, you had some issue. You had emotional damage today, or it was just more
it just
like
work.
other things.
Just work.
That's right.
But I also had a
Yeah. What's
beautiful time. I had fun. I was watching you dance today.
what? What was that? Oh, I know what that is. How did you come across that? Why? What? For what occasion would you have to see that
I
that
was
video?
showing I was showing that video to my 93-year-old neighbor that I was visiting today. It was a lovely visit, and I was sharing that with her. Yes. So
Okay,
I was like,
that's
"Oh,
so
look, that's my friend."
that's
I was
absolutely
pointing you out
ridiculous.
today. Yes.
So it's the waltz, right? We were doing the
Yes, it's the
waltz.
waltz.
Is
Yes.
that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's absolutely such a great time. We had a great time, man. If you well, you won't be able to see that online on YouTube, but go look at the channel, ladies and gents, and you'll see when we were in Poland. We took the show to Poland. We had a great
Yeah.
time, uh, and again, Agnes is one of the greatest hosts you will ever enjoy. If she ever invites you to something, you better go because you're going to enjoy yourself. I promise you, you're going to have a good time. All right, all right. So we're doing another Ask Agnes segment today, but today I went out and I said, okay, let's also get some multiple choice answers. So we're calling it multiple choice madness, but a special edition of Ask Agnes, right? So same questions from the uh, from the audience, but we asked AI to give us some answers. Some, and some of them make sense, and some of them, oh boy. All right, so let's start with
That's
this first
interesting.
one.
You're throwing a
Isn't
curveball.
it?
You're throwing a curveball here. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Agnes, my partner and I are struggling with a lot of debt. Right up your alley. And it's starting to impact our relationship. What are some strategies we can use to manage both our financial situation and the emotional toll it's taking on us? So, Agnes, I know you probably have an idea of what you think you should be doing or whatever, but artificial intelligence gave us 4 possible answers, and I'm going to read each one of them off. So, A, create a budget together, prioritize debts, and seek professional financial counseling. That sort of makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
B, ignore the debt entirely and hope it magically goes away. I think
There you go.
that's, that's good. That's definitely an AI answer. Uh, take regular breaks to discuss how the debt is making you feel and support each other emotionally. Huh. And D, buy a parrot, name it debt free, and ask it for financial advice.
Let's go with that one. Absolutely. Let's go with that one. That's
What
one of the best.
if you had to choose? Which one would you take?
Well, the parrot one. um,
The parrot seems like fun.
yes. I actually met a lot of couples that they are struggling with that, and there is usually at the very beginning there's a lot of blame put on one of the partners, on one of the spouses, or you're spending too much, you're spending too much, and at the end of the day it's both, both of them are contributing to the problem.
Mm,
um and it's fantastic, to sit down and figure it out, what to do and how to do it. um Budget plan, it's a great thing to do, absolutely. Now be very careful with all the institutions that they advertising, come to me, I'm going to magically erase 20 to 30 thousand dollars from your debt. They will do that, but
yeah.
you don't know that it's going to cost you 10,000 to pay them for,
Mm,
waving a magic wand. So that's a very, you can actually call yourself to each and every institution, explain the situation, and ask, just, they will tell you, okay, give you a payment plan, but just ask for reduction, just for a satisfaction of that bill, but to reduce it, and they will do it on their own without third party involved, and that doesn't cost you anything. So
excellent.
it's very important to do that. If for couples who are fighting and arguing about debts and blaming each other, that money, instead
Mm,
spending $10,000 to the company that actually will tell you, we will help you, we will raise magically $20,000, which at the end of the day you just save $10,000, and it's really not worth it. When you're losing your credit score, be for something. you know
right.
but invest that money into marriage counseling, because
Okay. All right.
usually when there's a blame placed on, if partners are arguing, no, you having too many drinks, you spending too much money on smoke, so you're going out with your girls too much, no, you're going out to bars with your boys too much. There is a lack of understanding of the whole situation, a lack of management. And only in a
Yeah.
marriage counseling or relationship counseling you're going to get that. You go only then you're going to be able to understand each other's needs, and you need to compromise. You have to learn how to compromise, and then you can move forward with different financial plans and with different managing.
Okay.
Or
All
the
right. That
parrot.
makes a lot of sense.
Or
Yeah.
the parrot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not, full disclosure, we are not telling you to get a parrot. That's not what you that is probably the word. Wow. I just like
That's
that is
fun.
creative. It's
Yes,
very
that's
creative and sounds like a lot of fun, but I don't think that's what you want.
yeah,
Oh
I don't think
boy.
that's helpful. I don't think that's helpful. But hey, it can always help.
He might be
Maybe,
fun,
maybe.
but not necessarily. All right. So next question. Hi Agnes, my spouse and I recently lost my father, and it's been really tough to keep our relationship strong while dealing with our own grief. Huh. What are some ways we can grieve together while supporting each other? Huh. I hope we don't get
Oh
dumb
my
question
goodness.
answers for this one.
We were
Oh
just
no,
talking
this is
about that. You were just talking about that
real.
yesterday at the bereavement meeting. But go ahead with
You
the
know,
answer.
I saw this one and I started thinking, I'm pretty sure she's had a bereavement meeting recently and it's probably all right. So here are the answers, multiple choice answers. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I did not write these. these answers are from the artificial intelligence. So if they seem like they are a little crass and or ridiculous, please do not hold me responsible. I'll stop it if I'm reading it and it seems crazy. Then I'll probably stop. But
No,
okay,
go
let's see.
ahead. No, 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 you have to read it, everything. You have to.
A answer A. Take time to listen to each other's feelings and offer emotional support without judgment. Well, that sounds reasonable. B. Compete to see who can cry the most in one day. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
C. Seek grief counseling as a couple to help process your emotions and learn how to communicate better during this time. Uh, D. Bottle up your feelings and pretend everything is fine while binge watching reality TV. Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. That's another parrot. Yes. Uh,
All right. So tell me about your experience. What was
yeah,
happening
okay.
this week?
This is very important to remember. And might sound silly at the beginning, but when you really dive into that, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Women are for Venus, men are from Mars, and it's very
Yes.
true. If women and men process their feelings different way. Again, this is not a cookie cutter situation,
Right.
because but majority of men, especially our generation and older, and a lot of men is raising their sons this way as well. You are supposed to be the pillar of your family.
Right.
You shouldn't supposed to show emotions. You should not cry. You should just stand still and be the strong provider, and so on and so forth. So men don't process. See, when you asking a woman greeting, you ask how you feeling. Men to
Right.
men, they will ask, how are you doing? Because men don't process feelings as the same way, as deeply, as open-mindedly as women do. Okay,
Hmm.
women cry, and it's acceptable. Women take the time, and they're upset visibly, and that this is, even today's society, it's very acceptable. And that's a lot of times in groups you can see women coming by themselves. Very, it's a ratio, you might say 9 to 1, 9 to 1, when there are couples coming together to grieve, and single women. Just
Interesting.
because men are not processing, men are taking this, okay, uh they are more, this is a matter of fact. Okay, this happened.
Yeah.
That's what is outside. That's what they're showing outside, and they're not even showing to their partners, just because they are. A lot of husbands tells their wives, listen, maybe that's enough. Maybe you have to take care of yourself. They are showing more care for their spouse
Hmm.
to to prevent illness, to prevent sickness, to prevent more depression, just because they're stepping into the role of the caretaker of that strong persona that has to be taking care of everybody, and everyone can depend on him. Where women are more, it's more acceptable to fall apart and cry and cry and cry and have their emotions more visible. Women are more emotional. um I'm not gonna say this is a hormonal thing. It's just that's the way women are. Again,
I,
not
I,
everybody,
I
but
think
majority of them.
I think it's the way we have been socially formed, and certain
Yes,
things are just allowed more than others. And the guys, to this day, people will tell you, and you'll hear them talk about, the whole feminism argument is that men, no matter what, they've got to go and deal with whatever it is, and to push their feelings down into a box or whatever it is, and then
yes.
go to work, and you have to do that. So can you imagine? And this is just one of those conversations that you hear some men talking about. They're like, can you imagine going to work and, like, starting to cry while you're operating the machinery? You'd get fired right there. You can't do that. And in their mind, they think that that's something that women would do. I'm not saying that people do not necessarily need to go and handle their emotional stuff, whatever, but that is one of the things that we are unfortunately forced to do for years and years and years and years, for generations. And so because of that,
Yeah.
men don't get in touch with their feelings very often. And
But see,
these days rough. They can't even
men
say it.
also men also will get sick faster than women, because when you let go of your emotions, your stress, your burden, your depression, it's different. And when the men are battling that grief inside, they carry that with them. It's not that they don't
Yeah,
grieve, they grieve very
right.
deeply. It's just different way, and it's more
Yeah.
harmful to them. And just look, men dying faster than women. The life expectancy is it's shorter than women, just because they are carrying everything inside. And
Mm,
not being let go of certain stress, not being not to deal with stress or
yeah.
grief in certain way,
Yeah.
they make themselves sick, because
Yeah.
depression it sets in. And then physical aspects are start going, hurt here, hurt there, and it's like, you're falling
Yeah.
apart. You don't know why, doctor doesn't know
Right.
why,
And
but
you're not.
that's what
Yeah.
stress, that's what
You're
grief
not
does.
connecting the two things. But also, men do make some crazy decisions sometimes, climbing trees and doing different things. So you're just like, no woman would take your time to do that kind of stuff. But I understand exactly what you're talking about. There is a connection. There's a book by uh, Louise Hay where there she points out the connection between it as a nurse. And gotta tell you, a lot of times doctors kind of hold themselves in a different place and can't do this, but there are lots of nurses who will tell you we are there with the patients like every day, way more than the doctors. And her thing was, as a nurse, she could definitely see a connection between person and who they were and what problems they were having in their life and the physical actual illnesses that were happening in there. Again, disclaimer, I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm just saying to you, there are people who are suffering from things, and it is partially because there's emotional and mental programming that might be trickling down to the rest of their body.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And see, there's a lot of couples that grief can either strengthen the marriage
Right.
or can destroy the marriage. Because a
Right.
lot of times I have noticed that women are like, oh, why is he not understanding me? Why isn't he on my side? Why does he tell me to stop doing this or don't do that? With simply not giving in her grief, she doesn't give her partner the full understanding that he's just a different person than her, and he's processing this different way. Him grieving is taking care of her, saying, honey, you cannot do that. That's him caring, that's him loving her. It's just it's the love language, it's sometimes
It's
difficult to
different.
see,
It's different. Yeah.
especially when someone is
Yep.
simply embraced in grief. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful thing when the couple can go to a bereavement together. It's a beautiful thing
Right.
because while they're opening to the group, they sometimes they're not able to open up to each other this way. There's always that
Mm-hmm.
step.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, everyone has different relationship with the one that is gone. Doesn't have to be always a
Yep.
lot of
Yep.
love there. So a daughter will be grieving after her father in different way. Then the son-in-law will be grieving after his father in a different way. There's
And absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
think that we us again in today's day we missing so much valuable information about grief. Grief is being put aside almost pushed away because there's no time. People are feeling uncomfortable. People are feeling uncomfortable. Just like all those years ago when I lost my mom, 2 weeks after losing her, I was visibly upset at the office. And then my boss tells me, listen, you have to shake it off because you're making people
Yeah.
uncomfortable. My answer was, come here, I'll show you how upset I am. But of course, I didn't do
No, but
that. I wanted to, like, or buy him a parrot. But but the
ah,
thing is, lack there's lack of understanding,
yeah,
and a lot of people does not know how to deal with grief. They
yeah,
really don't.
yeah.
Makes them feel very.
So your answer is B. Compete to see who can cry the most in one day. Correct. That is your answer.
Absolutely, yes, and get the parrot.
No, it's clearly C. C. Seek grief counseling as a couple to help process your emotions and learn how
Yes.
to communicate better during this time. So that's a really good answer. It completely makes sense. I guess the AI is just pulling at straws, so it is what it is. But that's a good one. I thought that was a great answer and a great question. All right, so let's move on to the next one. What have we got here? Agnes, my partner spends so much time on social media. Huh? We are seeing this a lot. This is the second time we got this question. Agnes, my partner spends so much time on social media that it's starting to create tension in our relationship. How can we balance being online while still staying connected with each other? And your answers are A, set boundaries around social media usage and prioritize quality time together without screens. B, only communicate through GIFs and memes to keep things modern. C, schedule regular digital detox days where you both take a break from social media and focus on each other. I'm kind of liking A and C, right? They could probably both
Mhm.
be good answers. And D is block each other on all social media platforms and never discuss it again. I think that is that's that's
You got
heading
it.
straight for the
You got it. Stop snooping
you.
around my account.
What do you?
Stop snooping around my
That's right.
account.
You know way too much about me. Yeah.
You know,
What do you think?
it's really it's a problem in nowadays. It's really a problem. Um,
Yeah.
I'm the only one in a crowded elevator without the phone in my hand. We are glued to our phones. We are glued to social media.
Mm,
One thing, um, because we're coming to the end of our time, and I'll tell you just very straightforward answer to this, that
okay.
social media always be there. You can always go back to see what you missed, what information you missed, and all that. Your loved one, you don't know how long it's going to be beside you.
No, you
Cherish
have no
that time
idea.
together. Cherish that time
Oh
together,
my God.
and prioritize yourself above all and everything. That's the reality of life. You're going to be sitting and staring at the phone about stupidity, about, okay, I'm doing the same thing. I'm laughing at silly things, relaxes my mind. I don't have to think hard about anything after a stressful day. Hey, let's watch The Office, whatever. You just silly laughs, and that's it. But you're spending time with your loved one on, I don't know, silly things, having glass of wine together, sit down by the fire, or just sit and stare at the stars, or anything together. Because when they're gone, you're going to be kicking yourself that you did not spend enough time with that person.
Um, this is going to be on YouTube forever. I don't think I'll ever delete this channel. And so if my children ever decide to look at this and say, what is daddy doing this whole time or whatever, I'm going to leave you guys with this tiny, tiny little nugget. When my mother and father passed away within a year and a half of one another, it occurred to me in that moment, at that time, that you think you have time with those people and you don't. You have no idea how quickly your life, their life, how fragile we are as human beings, and we could be here in any second and any time and just not have those people anymore. So if you're here, live that day, talk to the people, tell them, let everybody know how you feel about them, because there will come a time when you won't be able to tell them, you won't be able to have the conversations that you wish. Oh my God, I wish I could talk to my mother right now. You would wish to have those conversations.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a great relationship with my father. And I wish I had just had even that initial conversation about why, why that had happened and who are you and that sort of stuff. Uh, there are people who I walk into a room, old school people who knew him, whatever. I walk into a room and they're like, "Whoa, did Roy just walk in here?" Because I look so much like him. Apparently, I sound like him, walk like the guy. And so I just wish we'd had that conversation. But it is what it is. Time is fleeting. Don't spend your entire life on social media. Please, please, please. All
It's
right.
not working. It's not
Last one. And I hope
working.
we'll go quick with this one. This is the last one. All
Okay. Woo.
right. Prenuptial agreements. A smart financial move or romance killer. Agnes, I'm considering bringing up a prenuptial agreement with my partner before we get married, but I'm worried it'll hurt our relationship. What's the best way to approach this conversation? And so here we go. Here go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm going to tell you these are answers, okay? These multiple choice answers, not coming from me, okay? A, frame the conversation as a way to protect both of your interests and create financial transparency. That actually sounds sensible. B, wait until the wedding day and hand them the prenup at the altar for a dramatic reveal. I think that would probably be a problem. Emphasize that a prenup can prevent financial disputes in the future and approach it from a place of mutual respect. If you think about that like that, a prenup is almost, it's almost like a end of life agreement as well. It's one of those things you need to have.
Mhm.
D, last answer, whisper prenup into their ear while they're sleeping and hope they get the hint.
Yes, yes, that always works. That always works. Or a diamond ring for your wife.
That's
No,
wild.
the prenup is very smart. It's very
Yeah,
smart. If you have, okay, listen, if you are just the two young kids building their future together, then there is nothing to talk about.
right,
Okay. If you are financially established and you want to this is a second, third, fourth marriage, whatever, and then you have other obligations, and or you're running a business, and you're responsible for a lot of other lives, your employees, and so forth and so on. That's very smart, very smart. It
yeah,
will be irresponsible otherwise. I advise all my
yeah,
clients that if one of them it's a business owner, do not file taxes together. File separate. Business
yeah,
is business. Crap happens. Things happen. No one ever plans, okay, I'm going to next year have problems with taxes, or I'm going to have problem with business. No one does that. When that happens, you're finding yourself in a not nice situation, not a pleasant situation. Your credit score goes down. Someone, which will be your partner who is not involved with your taxes, with your business, it's there standing there for you, for your family, to provide whatever
right,
is needed. someone has, this is just smart thinking. Okay,
Right.
this is smart financial planning, not you know I just, you might heard, how many marriages falls apart? 50%, over 50% nowadays. So yes, it's very, very important. I don't think that there's a lot of people who are getting married with plans. Okay, that's going to be my 3 or 5 year project or whatever, or I'm going to be with you until your money runs out. There are situations like that, but we all spend money and our emotions. We are emotionally involved in those situations, in the marriages, in planning, in everything. This is serious stuff. So we're going in with
Yeah.
everything. We're involving other people around us to make sure, of course, with hopes that everything's going to be, happily ever after.
Yeah.
50% falls apart. So why?
Yeah.
Why should we make ourselves more miserable? And you have
Then
your
we,
heart broken, and a lot of times you feel like all the riches, all the wealth you might have in the world doesn't mean anything when you're coming back to the empty home. So
mm,
it come on, why to hurt each other more? It's smart decision. It's smart decision. So start whispering today, even if the wedding is 6 months
yeah.
away. Prenup, prenup.
Every time I hear the word prenup, I think of Chris Rock. He did a special, a comedy special, and it's a joke, but it makes so much sense to me. He was like, you're a millionaire, then almost always you whipping out the prenup. Your lawyers come in, your family
Yeah,
comes in, your business, whatever. They're like, yeah, you get married, you gotta have a prenup because now you've made that person. Once you marry a person, say you had a large business, that business now just got a new partner because you married this person. But
absolutely.
if you have a prenup, you can protect against that. You can just say, okay, the person is just going to take it. But yeah, his joke was that millionaires will come in all the time and say, yeah, you got to sign a prenup. And it's smart, but he's like, that's not even the person who should really be putting forward a prenup. The person who should be putting forward a prenup is the guy who's just making 30,000, because when your wife asks for half of 30,000 and you're left with 15, you better have some sort of prenup set aside. A guy who's making millions of dollars, fine, he loses half of millions of dollars. But if you're down to $15,000, now you're
That's
in a
a
lot of
problem.
trouble.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's
So
think
don't.
about prenup. It's not only that, okay, sign that you're not going to touch my savings.
Yeah,
From the time that they get married, everything goes 50-50. That's number one. Number
mhm,
two, in that prenup, you also, a lot of times the spouse gets some money per year spent with
yeah,
them. They're
right.
also, in that prenup, they can specify how much time the spouse has to spend with them,
Yeah.
or even to the point how many times a week they have to do their marital duties. you know
Listen.
otherwise that would be a problem. How much money for each child and things. This is that the other person can really protect themselves, so don't be silly.
Yes.
Take
Yes.
advantage of the situation.
Yes.
Come
You
on.
should. You. That's funny. Yeah. Take advantage of it, or use it as a document that helps you both really express and understand what it is you are looking for from this marriage. It's so
Yes.
funny that you said um, specifically that someone's saying, hey, if you stay with me for a certain number of years, that's one measure. If you have a certain number of children, that's another measure. But it's really, really good to be able to say, yeah, I want children. That's what that is saying, is literally saying, I'd like to have children. And someone could be saying, oh, that's not going to happen. If we don't have, I I can remember that part of the reason why people used to get divorced back in the old days is you did not provide me with an heir. And
Yeah, yeah.
you do not provide heir. Now we are divorced. I get new wife. And so the idea would be, yes, you want to put your expectations down. This is an opportunity to put your expectations down.
Yes.
That being said, I did not get a prenup. What a dummy. But but
There
yeah,
is
I
such
was young, and
prenup.
silly, did not think about it. Yeah.
Prenup, it's a beautiful
I,
thing. You can specify, okay, you have to be home for dinner at least 3 times a week. If someone is a
okay.
workaholic, you have to, you have to spend weekends with me. We have to spend holidays with family, and just everything can be specified in that document. This is not something like you just can't touch my money. No, and you know what? This is very good for financial planning as well.
I had never even thought of it like that. Yeah, it's a great financial planning tool. It's a great expectations. Now you're setting expectations. It's a great tool, a prenup. We should get an attorney to come on the show and talk to us about this. I'm sure I
Absolutely.
can find several of those. But yeah, there is no reason why you should not have a prenup. It doesn't matter if you're not making any money. It doesn't matter if they're not making, well, I guess it especially matters if you are not making any money or that you are making a lot. It does not matter. It's definitely something you could have so that it's not just about the money. It is, and I know people get offended. I know that's the thing. That's why people are afraid to bring it up because they get all offended. Oh, why would come to me? You'd be surprised. You could start the relationship as the person who's making a lot of money, and then at the end, the way the world is today, you might not be the person making a lot of money. You
You
might be
don't
the
know.
one who's been left with kids. Yeah, and at home making half of whatever he or she makes. And now
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, the burden is unmanageable, all because you didn't get a prenup. Get a
Life is
prenup.
unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. And
Yes, it
prenuptial agreement turn this into marriage contract.
is. Yeah,
Turn this into marriage
exactly,
contract. That's all there is to it.
exactly,
And don't get
exactly.
offended, get smart.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. And with that, we're going to say thank you so very much, ladies and gents, for hanging out with us this week again on Love, Death, and Taxes. If you have questions for us, if you have something you'd like to ask, or you'd like to ask for a specific topic here, you want to send that to mailbag at lovedeathandtaxes.com. You have issues with your taxes, especially if you made the mistake of marrying someone without a prenup, and now your business is interfering, or their business is interfering with your life financially. You and the taxes especially are driving you crazy. I want you to go check out nytaxresolutions.com because that's Agnes's website, and she would be able to assist you with that, especially if it is a tax issue. Anything else, you just come to watch the show. Okay, subscribe, subscribe. There are no judgments whatsoever. I hope to see you guys sometime next week. Click that little bell, ding, 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 if you're on YouTube, so that you can see this over and over again. Thank you so very much. Night. Agnes, you have anything else for them before we go?
Just enjoy your weekend. That's what I'm going to be doing. Not
Okay,
on
very
social
well.
media.
Yeah,
And
go buy no parrots. No parrots.
well, I was about to say I'm going to look for a parrot now, but
And name it financial advice. All right, guys. Everybody, bye.